and really it was about supporting filmmakers so they can continue to do their craft.
I think it is an amazing endeavor. Why do you think that this formula works? Why do you think that this platform is so necessary?
I think because, the way that, for niche audiences, which the lesbian community is, right? We're like a niche of a niche.
Yes, we
right?
are. A niche of a niche.
Just LGBT, right?
Very well described, yes.
Yeah, and so when you have that, there are many disadvantages because you have a really small segment of the population. So it's difficult to get all the aggregate views that more mainstream projects can reach for, just because you're really sort of, honing in and drilling down on a small audience. But the great thing is that it is a small audience, and so you kind of know where they are.
That's true.
And so this kind of platform is important because, if you want to continue to try and figure out monetization of this for niche audiences, really the only way that you can do that and support it is by asking the crowd to support you. And it's just like this real symbiotic relationship where, you're not doing something because it pleases an advertiser who can be very fickle and very constraining. You're doing things that please the community that you're a part of.
Right.
And so if they love you, you love them, you make more things. They love you more, you make more things. They love you more. It's like this wonderful, symbiotic
a beautiful relationship.
So
yeah.
It is. And so that's why that's why it's important for these platforms, because if you want to be able to not have to compromise, right? Like, you don't want the woman to end up marrying the man at the end. You don't want the woman to go back to her husband.
Yes.
Like, those are no stories.
Right. I wanted to ask you about the content. You mentioned before something like Netflix. Now, I'm not trying to throw them under the bus. I am a subscriber to Netflix. But sometimes when I'm trying to find literally a lesbian film, or they call it, what do they call it? A strong woman lead, is I think they're what they call it there. It takes me forever to find a story that I can identify with, because if it's on the gay and lesbian category, it's usually stories where the lesbian is absolutely psycho and she is going to do something really uncharacteristic at the end. It has nothing to do with my life, right? And I go, who's making these stories? I mean, maybe they entertain our gay men, you know what I mean? They want to see the drama and the height, but it has nothing to do with something that's relatable to me. And so I'm thinking of Tello. It sounds to me like you guys are really trying to be as authentic as you can be, or be, represent in a variety of ways through storytelling, the stories that are being missed. Am I correct about that?
Absolutely. And and they're very authentic because they come from, a place of truth, and they come from a place of real experience and a place of fun, being able to have fun with the quirkiness of our community that we get. And so...
Yeah, we are kind of quirky.
Yeah.
What has been one of the most inspirational experiences you've had in creating this? Because I'm sure you've had quite a few challenges in getting the formula right. I mean, what is... Yeah. So I'll tell you two stories. Okay.
The first one is when our project called The Throwaways was coming out, and that's about LGBT homelessness. And a girl running away from home because her mom's going to send her away to like a D-gang camp. And so, that was sort of like a very heavy topic. Yeah. And we're in the middle of releasing it, and I get this email from someone who says, like, I don't know, what happened to my account, but I don't have, my subscription isn't working right now. Can you help me? So I looked into her account, and I saw where the problem was, and I gave her, like, a couple of days subscription, free in order to bridge this gap between like a payment and all techie stuff. And I wrote her back and I was like, I'm so sorry, here's what's happened, here's what I've done, you can log in now and view. And she wrote me back and she said, oh, thank goodness, my teenage daughter is about to have a meltdown because she can't watch the most current episode of The Throwaway.
Whoa.
And I wrote her back.
Oh, my God.
You are the coolest mom ever. Thank you so much for supporting your, what I assume is like an out daughter, who's a teenager, right? Who's under the age of 18. And I just was like, this is exactly why we do this. So a 16-year-old can watch something that speaks to her or that normalizes whatever she's going through.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And And I think the other thing that was so meaningful was this. About a year ago, this past March, we launched a crowdfunding campaign for Nikki and Nora. Mm-hmm. And to date, it's the largest crowdfunding campaign for a scripted lesbian web series. We raised $65,000.
Wow.
And the outpouring from the fans to see this getting made,
mm-hmm.
and that we have continued to see as we've launched Nikki and Nora,
yes,
was so overwhelming and heartfelt, and just really an amazing experience of how this community can come and get behind something that they believe in, that they want to see, that represents who they are.
That
so those are
beautiful.
Two very different stories, but two things that really sort of help.
Right.
If I ever get like down or upset or, frustrated, I just think back on those things, and it's like,
I love that you have those references to keep you going in your creativity. Nikki and Nora mm-hmm. is a huge hit for you. I want to talk more about that. We have to take a break, but I want to talk more about this slam. Thank you, ma'am. This amazing project that apparently was original content that you had a hand in. We're going to come back and talk more with CHRISTIN Mello, who is the CEO of Tello Films. You can find them at tellofilms.com. I know before this night is done, you will subscribe, you will support. She is amazing. Kiss Her I'm Famous, just FYI, is up for your viewing right now. We're going to talk more about online content, just the way the world has changed a bit and how your creativity can be seen and heard all around the world. All right, so keep it where you got it. You're listening to The Satin Lounge with KiaRene. Don't you move.